everyone. I hope you're doing well. We got Kevin Chaos, we got BigZebra.com, and of course we got Reverend Brother Heathen right here in the house. I hope you're all doing well. So this is the last day of quarantining for the girlfriend. I am officially negative, so I go back to work today. It's all quite positive. My
or negative.
Yes, I'm
Apparently.
I'm positively negative. That's what I am. I am positively negative.
Good job. Good job, Mr. Kennard.
Good job, immune system and medicine and all that stuff there.
Yay, God. Thanks, God. I was praying for you, Andy. I heard my prayers. That's what this was about. Not the medicine.
Oh, of course.
No. I was praying for you.
I appreciate it.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
I don't think I have a lot of people praying. I think my mom prays for me. I get the impression that she still prays for me. She's a nice person. She does her best dealing with me and my brothers.
So instead of like taking sleeping pills or melatonin, she does prayers to help her get to sleep at night. So
whatever gets people through the night. To tell you the truth, whatever helps people out. I
find masturbation works better. I've done prayer, masturbation. The masturbation works way better. That's just my opinion.
And masturbation almost always works out in the end.
Sometimes. Sometimes it's surprising. Surprise!
Good morning, guys.
Hi, Tobin.
Morning, Tobin.
Look, it's Tobin.
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 I missed y'all, man.
Yeah.
Everyone's here. Yay.
Everyone is here. I did do an impromptu stream on Christmas. Was I a little intoxicated? Maybe I was.
I wish I had seen that.
But that was fun. D Parks was actually on camera with me, so that was a joy. That was fun.
Yeah. Did anyone else get some Transformers for Christmas, or is it just me? Just me? No.
It might be just you. I do have. I don't know if you can see this here. It's the big book of maps of World War II, map by map.
Oh, boy. Does it transform into a robot?
It does not transform into
no, it just transforms into information for your brain. How useless.
Exactly.
Now, this one is a triple changer, and he turns into a gorilla, and a robot, and a flying, and he's got a little guy inside.
Oh, yeah, that was, I think it was called Beast Wars, and it was the best of those Transformer shows.
Oh, I hated Beast Wars. It's all like
really?
Computerized graphics. I can't even watch it. It's garbage.
Oh, okay.
This is what kind of big arguments we have on this show. It's about computer.
The important things.
The important things.
Yes.
Oh, if it's okay, can I share with the class a classic piece of Canadian news?
Sure.
Okay, I'll put it in private chat first.
Okay.
And in public chat in a second.
Oh no!
It is all about a woman whose snowmobile went out of control, hit a moose, and those things can easily weigh a couple of 1,000 pounds.
Oh yeah.
And then hit a gazebo.
She's like a meatball machine.
She died, but she was taken to hospital on a sled pulled by a snowmobile.
Wow. That is very Canadian. Very Canadian.
I think it is, yeah.
Oh, God. How many people die on their snowmobiles is insane.
Actually, snowmobiling can be really dangerous. Also, people, there are even snowmobile races where I wouldn't do them because you're not surrounded by metal, at least, like you were in a car.
Yeah.
And they like to roll over. They're a bit top-heavy.
And they go over water. They go over freaking stupid ice.
And tell me if I'm wrong. I've heard rumors that some people may drink the alcohol before getting on snowmobiles.
Another classic move. It's just that even if you're in a car and you hit a moose, there's a really good chance you're going to die because those damn things can be 10 feet tall. They're on those spindly little legs, and you take the legs out, and then this fucking 1,800-pound body comes crashing through your windshield, and you're dead.
Yeah.
Oh,
What's
there's
up, Oz?
Oz.
Andy, you let Tobin and Jimmy here?
It's pretty crazy, Oz. You're right. Poor choices
Yeah.
on my part. Poor choices.
Oz, it's before the crack of noon. What are you doing up out of your coffin? What are you doing?
Jimmy, you know I don't sleep.
You
I
don't
know.
sleep. I've seen
The
you
man
start.
is 24/7. He's a work animal. The content he puts out, Mr. Oz, my boss, is insane. Insane.
That was a
So-
really great interview last night. I can't remember the name of your guest, but she was awesome.
Eve, yeah, she's awesome.
Eve, yes, yeah.
Who did you interview?
Her name, Eve. Her screen name, like on Instagram and TikTok, is at Eve _ was it Eve's? I just forgot the last part, but she's a former evangelical framed. Eve _ was framed. She's a former evangelical praise and worship pastor, so we had a lot in common there because that's what I grew up with. And it was. She was a great guest. It was a badass interview. We're gonna do a round 2.
Awesome.
Yeah, me and Kendra were sitting there with our jaws dropped. Like, I had stepped out of religion in my teenage years, so there's a lot that I didn't see, and I wasn't like brought into a lot of their programs like y'all were. That's pretty hardcore.
I don't want to ask you to give the whole interview away, but what struck you? What was the most salient? What was the most interesting? What was the craziest part of the chat?
Having a conversation with someone that actually experienced, once you walk away, experience and realize the amount of emotional and psychological manipulation and deceit and abuse just within the music, the way they use music to emotionally and psychologically control people. That, like, just having a commonplace with somebody like that did it at the level, myself and my family did it, was my jaw was on the floor. Like, okay, somebody else, I know other people get it, but I'm actually talking to somebody that you did it just like we did it.
Yeah.
And it's fucked up.
Crazy. Great. Is that why you do rap? It's like you're trying to be like the Pied Piper to lead all the Christians to rationale?
If any of the lyrics that I blurped and spit out of my mouth would actually convince somebody of something, maybe. But most Christians that would listen to anything I say, they're going to be like, fuck that guy.
So I have someone named Imany, Imany, in the back room, in the green room here. I don't know if anyone can vouch for them. Imany, there's a policy that, because we've been spammed a bunch of times. In fact, there was an incident just the other day when the last show that we had. And yeah, so that person is not interested.
Known to me.
Yeah, probably just another person who wants to show us their junk.
Maybe. Why do people want to do
show
that?
off.
Why? Can we talk about guys sending out dick pics? How much they're driving the market down? A picture of my dick pic used to be worth a lot more, but now the value's gone down. And there's only so much I'm working with. So
It's saturation of the market. It's just it's saturated.
Like, guys, stop it.
Well,
Reverend, I think your dick pic and Bitcoin have a lot in common.
But Jimmy, you know my style. That was a complete assertion and a bold claim. So we're gonna need to go through some Socratic questioning here and figure out if you're bullshitting.
No. You could get. There's lots of evidence of women that don't want to have a. All over the place. you know what? I asked for consent, and now that I am married, I would never do that. But guys, stop it! You're being bad. Stop sending out pictures of your wiener. No one wants to see it.
Of your wiener.
No one wants that.
Interestingly enough, a couple of years ago, I had I guess it was like one of those scammers that they solicited dick pics from me. They're using pictures of a, female. And so I just sent out the dick pic, and then the next thing I know, they tried to use them to blackmail me. And I thought that was hilarious.
Oh my gosh.
It's kind of strange. You're supposed to blackmail people with secrets, not something that you openly admit to having.
Yes, I have a penis.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. By all means, tell my family and friends that I have a penis, please.
Get the word out.
They'll take it real seriously.
Best marketing campaign ever.
Holy
So does
shit.
A
anyone
woman
have-
that is interested in man, married to a man, no one wants a dick pic. Exactly. No one wants it. And this is, like, I never understood this about men. Like, really? Can I just share a little secret? All right? The reason why guys do this is they think, oh boy, I'm going to get some. I'm going to get it. Right? No! It's not how it works, guys. Jesus
Actually, at
Christ.
Jesse Bear, I know a woman who likes dick pics. So there's
Yes.
one.
I was about to say there are women that do like them, but
They
but
do,
they-
but yes.
but on the norm, Jimmy, I do agree that you don't just randomly send pictures of your genitalia to random women. You don't do that.
That's right. Now, you got to put in a little work. If you want something from a woman, you got to put in the work.
You got to send your dick pics in a classy way.
Yeah,
Or trying to
classy.
jump on a stream and then you're gonna stand up and pull your pants down right as they let you in. What the heck is that shit?
Well, that's just they know what they're doing. That's trolling straight up.
Tell me if I'm wrong, but during sex education, there should be a section about what not to do with your phone.
2022.
Well done, sir.
So
Yes.
tell me this, right? Because I've been, there was a dark time after I got divorced. And maybe, I think we've all made amateur sex tapes, sex recordings before, right?
No.
And no, okay.
Oh, yes.
Oh, you
Shut
guys
up,
are
guys. Yes, we've all done that, Andy. Yeah, we've all done that. Tell us all about what we all do all the time, please.
And in my defense, it wasn't focused on me because I don't want to see me having sex, but focused on the other person. And after the horrendous breakup we had, I'm like, I just deleted everything. I have no interest in any of that. I think that also should be put in the, sex education of what to do with your phone, of what not to do, and what to do with your phone. You just gotta let it go.
Yeah, God. And you
What do you
know
think? I'm the
guys-
only one here? I'm the only one who's done that?
Oh no,
Oh,
I've played around with that. Yeah.
I haven't, because I don't want to see my butthole.
Play,
I wanna see it.
Now, if you look
I will
long and
never
hard, you
get
can
a
find
hole
indecent
again
pictures of
if I
me
see
still
my
on the
own
internet.
Oh, really?
I will not be looking.
The appropriate
well,
website, though.
It's true. It's like meeting yourself. Like if you do time travel, looking at your own butthole causes a whole arousal time continuum. It's terrible. It's terrible.
Speaking of dick pics, what's to stop a guy from just taking a still from a John Holmes movie and sending it out? And so he's using counterfeit dicks.
That's
Or
true.
imposter.
You know why? You know what? I got the solution to that. What I do is
Watermark.
I put a little top hat of mine. And maybe little googly eyes, so you know it's coming from me, right? And it's classy. Look classy. Look,
Jimmy,
he's got a top hat. He's got little googly eyes, and I shake him around.
Jimmy has an entire Pornhub account with the top hat.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
but with consent. With consent. And it's not random ladies, because I'm that's important. That's valuable. Guys, you make your wiener less valuable when you throw it out in the zeitgeist. No.
Oh my god.
Valuable.
A friend of mine created a business called Happiness Hats, and the idea is that they sort of look like scrunchies, but were hats for your penis. And the business never really went anywhere, but the Twitter account still survived. So I'll put it in chat for interested parties. But my favorite was the Joker's hat with the little bangles on it. That was great.
What's a bangle?
You know those little bells?
Oh God, that's what my penis needs.
Yeah.
Bells.
Well, they don't make them anymore.
I'm gonna get some bells, baby. You're getting it tonight. She's gonna appreciate that, big zebra.
I don't know
Oh
if they're
my
still
God,
around,
it's
but
so
I was
old. They
following a
haven't
group.
since 2013. Jesus.
I don't know if they're still around, but I was following a group for a while on like Instagram, and they sell clits. They sell glass clits in all shapes and sizes, and yeah, it's like really
so
interesting but weird at the same time.
God, oh God, are we coming to that point where we need glass clits? Guys have a hard enough time finding the real ones, and now you want to get glass
I was
ones?
about to say, what good does a glass clit do?
I'm not here to
It's like an
shame
aesthetic
anyone.
thing. Like they're
If,
just
if
like
that's what you're into, then that's what you're into.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to shame. I just don't understand the point. But whatever.
There might be some kind of internal logic to it, but it may not be rational. Well, of course it's not rational, right? It's this kind of instinctual need to do things.
Okay, I'm just starting to get really creeped out here. We got a bunch of white, old, bearded dudes talking about sex.
White
Hey,
beers.
guys. Oh,
Yeah.
what about more about sex?
Yeah. You're right,
Come on,
Jimmy.
Jake, come on, Dr. Kennard. Come on, man.
All right.
Well,
So does anyone have a crazy Christmas story? Anything that happened to them during Christmas? I'll tell you mine. I'll start off.
Yeah.
I got so intoxicated that when I asked my girlfriend, "Hey, we should put on some Christmas music," that she started playing Amy Grant's Christmas album,
Oh boy.
and I was so intoxicated I didn't even care. Even when my
Yikes.
ears were
The level
bleeding.
of intoxication is scary. Did you? Oh, God, you must have had alcohol poisoning.
There was a lot of
You can
alcohol.
die.
Yeah, but
Amy
that was
Grant.
Amy Grant. It's like, how is she just? Oh, yeah.
I was listening to John Denver Christmas. I was trying to scourge my vinyl collection for anything Christmassy, and that was
I'll
it.
take John Denver over Amy Grant any day of the week.
Yeah. But
Oh, I know of a crazy Christmas story. There was this guy who thought, well, what am I going to do this Christmas? And so his answer was to fetch a crossbow and storm Windsor Castle, where the Queen lives during the holidays.
Why?
And he got caught, which is good. But I just thought, holy shit, what's with the guy? You're actually going to attack a castle with a crossbow. That'll work.
Not a well thought out plan. There was a pope
No.
who wanted to illegalize crossbows because they were so deadly. I forget which pope it is.
Oh, yeah. Well, the great thing, although a crossbow takes a lot of time and investment to make, once you've got one, you can train someone in 15 minutes how to use it properly.
Well, that's
and
what
with
it is.
reasonable accuracy. So,
yeah, true that. Anybody else have a crazy Christmas happen?
My crazy Christmas with everything else that happened leading up to Christmas is like Andy, I drank a lot of alcohol and I took some sleeping pills and I slept the entire day away.
Is this an intervention? Because I feel like we should be doing some kind of is everything okay with you, Oz? kind of talk.
Yeah. Oh no, I did it on purpose. Like I took where I knew I wasn't going to die. But I definitely did not want to be awake for Christmas, so I slept until like 8 o'clock, 8:30, something like that, and got up.
So without going into too many of the specifics, I'll tell you guys I narrowly avoided a pretty serious confrontation with a family friend of ours who was drunk. He's he's a racist asshole. So it's been kind of escalating. So, but yeah, I yeah, just barely avoided that. So that was fun. My Christmas Eve.
So what was your move to avoid the belligerence? Did you have a certain kind of out? Did you just leave the environment? What was your move?
Well, actually, I was like pretty. I was standing my ground. What actually came in between us was his girlfriend that ended up pushing him back and stuff. But I was there just fully ready to just smash a bottle over his head because
That's why everyone should just smoke weed. Just smoke weed.
Oh, I was smoking weed, but I just don't suffer that type of stuff, especially in my family's house, and so yeah, he's known to do that, just making racist jokes and stuff in our house, which is not something we tolerate.
Just look at him like he cut a really bad fart. Just like, geez, open up a window if you're gonna cut something foul like that. That's what I would do.
Well, congratulations
for
not.
Racist, man. They all need to be like just called out every goddamn time, like just like they're a big pile of shit, which they are.
Yeah, well, I mean, I have no problem calling him out, but the problem for me is that somebody keeps letting him back in, and
yeah.
I got family members that are like that, just real fucking tools. Just the casual racism, just comes off their mouth like saying hi. It's just like, oh, Jesus, why is that necessary? Jesus.
Yep.
And unfortunately, like in my occasion, I have kids. I really don't want my kids like hearing that kind of crap.
Yeah, no. Yeah, that's where you get to
I grew up with being a little kid and hearing all that kind of shit going on, and it gets old really quick.
Yeah.
Well, I think if you hear it with your kids around in particular, now you're in a situation that this becomes a learning experience for your kids. And they look at you to see what you're going to do.
Yep.
Yes.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's why I'll take a firm stance too. Just like you, Kevin. Just like you. I'll combat that shit.
So here's my theory.
You can't let it fucking slide. They've got to know every fucking time that that's not a fucking appropriate.
You get a warning, and then you get a red card, and on the other side of the red card is "fuck you."
Yeah. Oh, jeez. Yeah, they're all fucking jackasses. That's why I stay away from my family. I got my little crew. I'm good. That's all I need.
So Jesse Bear, I don't know if everyone knows this, but Jesse Bear was making a flying spaghetti monster stuffy.
Nice. That's so cool.
Excellent.
Good
That's
stuff.
a great idea.
Do you have a picture of it? You pile it up.
Jimmy, we already covered the whole pick thing, man. Just drop it.
Okay. I'm sorry. Yeah, but I don't want a dick pic. I want a show me pics of your cat. Show me pics of stuffies or something you made. That's the shit that's exciting.
I think what Reverend is trying to say is that he wants dick pics, all that you can send him, and wants them right now. Because that's covert talk for dick pics.
No, I don't even want to see my own. God, how any of us get laid is beyond me.
But if you did want to see your own, you could do a bit of yoga, and
I saw the
stretch
picture.
out.
How does it happen?
I saw the picture you sent me on the flying spaghetti monster on Instagram. Yeah, Jesse Bear, this is what I've done too. I've distanced myself, and especially my kids. One of the reasons why I distanced, I guess that's a good way of putting it, from my adopted parents and my adopted sister, is that I didn't want the contagion to spread.
Yeah, it is kind of frustrating, like that we're still having to argue and or stand up to that shit. it should have like already been just something that is like not accepted and people don't even go there.
Yeah.
But it's still happening.
Yep. And in another, yeah, who knows? Yeah, it's. I think it's going to just be like diabetes, right? It's going to be a chronic problem, and hopefully it'll be, societally, it'll be less and less prevalent in the
What's wrong
society.
with diabetes? Diabetes is a sign of a good consumer
Wow.
who just keeps eating and eating, like me.
Yeah, and like what with the show that Oz did last night, their worship leaders and uh what this is like a big show, and they're putting on a concert, and concerts are freaking awesome. Like it when you got the lights going and you got the music going and you got a vibe of all your peers and stuff going, it can be like very powerful, even like in a secular sense. Like I've had some moments that were just absolutely amazing, but they're using that as a tool to get in more kids every year. They're doing it right now.
Say
Right.
no to death cults, folks. Don't
Yeah,
let your
there's-
kids around death cults.
When people
Cool.
say that, I'm sorry, Kevin, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to elaborate that. I know there's like a whole marketing strategy with the Christian media groups where they're trying to keep up with popular culture and adapt to that.
Well,
Get
that,
younger
that religion, and I'm going to say words that people are going to say, why are you saying those words? Because they're so obvious, Andy Hall. The nature of faith is that it's an irrational relationship between the person and the cult and the organization. And how do you do that? You do that emotionally, right? I remember the first time I walked into a Catholic church, dude on the cross, just like that. And I'm going, what is he doing up there? What is going on with that? But yeah, in all these little ways, they prime you. They set you up, and then they set up the pins, and then they knock down in this emotional roller coaster.
Mm.
Yeah, and the
Go ahead. Awesome.
sorry, I hate being on my phone. It's always delayed, but like the yes, it's always priming. It's priming and priming and more priming. And one of the things we talked about last night, that's like if you go to any type of like evangelical, charismatic, like Southern Baptist, like any like what they'd call like a high octane, high energy type church, they have it's a format. There's a template. There's a template in place, and you come in. They start off with the upbeat, half note kick drum. They do that, and it's all major chords. And then they do one, maybe two songs like that. Then they go to your minor chords that are more melancholy, pull on your emotions, pull on your heart. Then they tell you how fucked up of a human being you are, and that you aren't shit if you don't have God. And that appeals to the people that are like in the roughest place of their life, whether it's emotionally, financially, their marriage, their relationship, whatever. And they play to those people that are vulnerable and most susceptible. And it's bullshit. It's a con game. It's a fucking con game.
Mm.
That sounds like a 3-act structure. And I know Jimmy Lou's about to say, Andy, don't talk about 3-act story structure. But that's it, right? You start off with some kind of inciting incident. You start making people have the feels, and then you close the deal in the last couple of minutes, right? You close the deal and you try to get them to make the commitment, the call to action, whatever that is.
Yeah. Well, at the end of it, for those style of churches, it's obviously not every church, but again, the evangelical, yada yada yada. That's it. And then the climax comes. The pastor gives his. It's very condensed nowadays. The pastor gives like a 30-minute message where it used to be like an hour and a half. Gives a 30-minute message, and then the climax is the worship team comes back up, and then they go like super melodramatic fucking music with the keys and the strings and all that to play to the emotions. And then they give the altar call where if you leave today and you get in a car accident and you die, do you know where you're going?
Yeah.
Do you know where you're going to end up? And that, if that's not the biggest fucking pile of bullshit, I don't know what is.
Yeah.
Yep. Yes, it is, and that's why we got to keep speaking out against it. All this shit's bullshit. Like used to talk about primate. All right, they're all like the whole religions are all about violence. Like, look at, I've said it before. Look at their symbol of faith. It's a fucking death torture device.
Right.
A cross, right off the hop.
Yep. Bingo.
Yeah, you are, D Parks, you're lucky not to get swept into that. And not, like, because once you buy into that fear, it's one of the worst things.
Well, what it is, it's in you. That's what it is. It's in you. And even, like, you can take the boy out of the Baptist church, but it's difficult to get the Baptist church out of the boy. It's like Chekhov. Chekhov wrote that in one of his, I think it's one of his novels, maybe a short story, is that every day I wake up, I have to squeeze the slave out of myself. I have to squeeze the slave out of myself.
Yeah, exactly. Ugh.
Jesus. Yep. And it is, for, and I think for each person, obviously it's different. It's all subjective. But, me being in and around Christianity and all that for 30 something years, it was a process of trying to weed out and dispose of the residue, the bullshit that was left over, where as soon as like certain things would happen and like a thought would come up and I'm like, no, that's not rational. That's the old shit. That's the old shit. Quit thinking that way. It lingers.
Well, and
dude, even though I had let go of my religious ideas at like 13, 14 years old, the idea of God, I still, it wasn't until like I really started looking into like the atheist community and like the content that they put out, and then I started realizing, oh, I have these little like superstitious ideas and like other little beliefs that I really now I find really silly, but yeah, those still held on for a long time.
Well, and that makes perfect sense when you grow up in a system that incentivizes magical thinking. Even when you officially get rid of that, when you distance yourself from that organization, you still have these remnants of magical thinking. You're still primed to think in a magical manner.
Yep. And that's why we're the problem we're in right now. Look at QAnon, right? They have all these beliefs that are based on non-evidence, right? And that's, of course, sorry, Andy, I come on your show, I try to plug our show, but at
Dude, you haven't even mentioned your show once. I know. Our show
got included on the Tang Network. We addressed this, and we finally brought my idea of the Church of Heretics. And what the Church of Heretics' main passion is to help other people get over the fear of hell. Because when I deconstructed from my faith, even though I stopped believing, that lingering fear of hell always gnawed in the back of my head. And I don't think we give it enough precedence in our society of how traumatic this is for people.
Absolutely.
So we use our platform. Yeah, we make some pretty controversial, goofy, funny bits, but we use these ideas to deconstruct these harmful ideas. And even at the beginning, my wife and other people were a little concerned, but they like my wife understands now, like some of this, like we have to address this stuff. By making fun of it, you take away the power of the boogeyman. And when we can stop putting these fucking religions up on a pedestal and stop giving energy and validation to these boogeymen, then people can start getting freedom from these painful traumas.
We should promote your show, Reverend, with the website over a dick pic.
A little top.
Big Zebra, you're not getting a picture of my penis. I'm telling you, I'm sorry. I know you sent me a really great outfit for it in the mail.
Yeah.
Top hat and everything, but I'm sorry.
Okay, well, I can dream though.
You can dream, and you can dream about it, and when you're dreaming about it, at least add an extra 4 or 5 inches or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, please.
I can dream about it.
I can dream about your penis.
Sorry, we went there again.
And Jimmy, I'll bring this up. I'm a hop off. I got to run to the store here, but that last show you and I did, just you and I on hell, and that whatever the fuck that idiot's name was that wrote that book, 23 Minutes in Hell or 24,
yeah.
whatever the fuck it is. It's I find it extremely problematic, but also ironic at the same time. Look at it from a skeptic point of view, is like, how do we have all these people that are writing goddamn books and have like these little like mini documentaries and doing these papers that all had their 23, 24, 25 or 6 minutes in hell, and hell never looks the same. The experience is never the same. They never see the same things, but yet they still are allowed to hold this over people's heads and tell them that if you don't believe what I believe, this is what's going to happen to you for eternity, which we can't even compute as human beings. We don't even know what the fuck eternity looks like, feels like, smells like, anything like that. But yet they use it as such a fear-mongering tactic. It's literally, like you already said, it's abuse. It causes so much trauma. It's fucking bullshit, man. That was my biggest thing. Walking away from religion, that was my single-handedly my biggest hurdle. I had to get a therapist. I had to go through therapy. I had to just to deal with fucking hell. Just to deal with fucking hell.
Yeah, exactly. And how many billions of people out there right now are struggling with that? Whether they want to admit it or not, if they bought into that concept, that is terrifying. So you either have two choices when you accept that idea. You either become so fucking narcissistic, or you don't think about anyone else in order to be able to hold on to that belief, or it drives you fucking buggy. That you're constantly worried you're going to go to hell, and you're constantly worried about other people going to hell.
I know you got to go, Oz, but I got to ask one more question. Is that when you went to a therapist, did you ever get misdiagnosed? In other words, did people just say that no one can be this afraid of hell, and they just assume that you had some kind of psychological disorder?
I was very, very fortunate because I know others that's been the case. I was very, very fortunate that at the time that I really started to open up about that, I had found a former Christian, now atheist therapist that dealt with the same thing. So I was very fortunate, but I know others are not.
Yep, they're not. Because no one takes it seriously, and no one really gets it. Unless you've gone through it, you don't really get it. And it's not being diagnosed enough. And because these fucking religions have all the power, have all the influence, to even speak out against it is like a sin in society. And it's bullshit. We need to be.
There's Christians, like whether on YouTube or Facebook or even in my personal life, that I've literally been laughed at for talking about it. They're like, "Oh my God, are you serious? It's hell? You were scared of hell?" And I'm like, what do you mean was I scared of hell? I was told I was going to like literally burn for eternity and be tortured for eternity. What do you mean? What are you talking about? Was I scared?
Well, if you're a Christian and you're not afraid of hell, then you're not Christianing right.
Yeah.
You're not doing it right.
And it should be remembered that in most places, if you threaten someone verbally, that's an assault.
Yeah.
And what is it when we say to children that hell is waiting for them? That's an assault.
Abuse.
Yeah.
And it's a crime. And just the fact that you're taking children and telling them what looms over for them if they steal a candy bar is
not even that.
Much.
They don't even have to do anything. They're awful. Right from birth, they're fucking defective and they're sinful and they're evil and nothing worthy in God's eyes. God, how does any Christian? This is what I don't understand. If you read the fucking Bible, how does any Christian have any moment of peace? Because God is a goddamn fucking judgmental bastard, and these little fuckers think that they're all high and mighty. No, I'm sorry. God is
you see the effects of that. This is how you get
everything. You're fucked.
This is how you get QAnon. This is how you get the Salem witch trials. This is how you get the satanic panic, is that these people are always in a state of agitation because of this existential fear in their lives put into them by the Bible, by the church.
And there's so much of it that it's actually like non-believers who don't actually have the belief in God will even like take up their talking points and like push their the narrative in the media. It's weird.
How many? Yeah.
It's
How many
really
movies
freaking
show
strange.
People, how many movies show people at peace after a traumatic event once they found God? Like it's all fucking horseshit. It's all horseshit. That's why at the Tang Network we are doing our best. That's why Dr. Kanyari is doing his best to speak out against this bullshit.
Yeah, let's make some
I have to
noise
sign
for
off now.
2022.
So
I mean,
Big
I'm
Zebra.
sorry.
Oh, we're gonna miss you.
Oh,
Seeing
but
as-
thank you so much. It's been a great time.
Good seeing you. Take
Bye-bye.
care. Bye.
And I'll say this: I'm gonna dip out, and I'm sure everybody's familiar with this, but it's why I just fucking love and adore Christopher Hitchens, and I wish he was still here.
Yeah.
You know, first and foremost, religion poisons everything. Period. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. Religion poisons everything, and I always love from the first time I heard it years ago till today. You can have your fucking toys. You can have your toys. You can play with your toys. You can play with your toys with your kids. Don't bring your toys to my house and expect me to play with your goddamn toys. I'm not playing with your fucking toys. So leave that shit at your house. And I wouldn't have a problem with any religious person if they left their goddamn toys at their own goddamn house. I'd be cool. Just leave your toys there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Why do
take
we
it off
care?
the money and out of the Constitution while you're at it.
Yeah.
I once thought like Oz, and now I'm a little bit more assertive. I think. I don't think it's okay if you're religious. I don't think. I think that
It's
if
not
you're,
really, but-
I think if you're religious and you're voting against the fascists, against theocrats, that's great. I'm not going to rag on you. But if you are a right-wing religious person, then I have a problem with everything.
Yeah, because he recognized it. He recognized it that they here are these theocrats are our enemy.
Well, and I think what Hitch was saying, I think that applies, Andy. I agree with you. I think that applies. It's still leave your goddamn toys at home. Don't bring them in the government. Don't bring them into schools. Don't bring them. Like, leave that shit at your motherfucking house. Leave that shit there. Don't bring it to the schools, to the government buildings. Don't bring it to my house. And as long as you do that, you keep it in your four walls, I don't have a problem with you. But it's when you start to infect everybody else with your bullshit, that's when we have problems.
I just want to, and once again, I don't want to get. I just want to say that some memes, as Richard Dawkins would define memes, are naturally infectious. And even if the thing is that when you have a right winger, right, when you have a fundamentalist, that meme needs to jump out of its host and needs to spread. It's just the nature of it. And that's why I think that if you're a host to something like that, you're kind of like a host to COVID. You're being irresponsible, and it needs to be confronted. And I don't care if you're at home playing with your toys. I don't care if you're out in public. There needs to be some kind of confrontation. There needs to be some kind of art discussion.
I think we should all this is what I do. If I see any of these fuckers on the street corner, bring him out. Oh, you gotta come to Jesus, blah blah. Then I confront them. If I see these fuckers out there trying to protest against abortion, then I fucking call them out. Yeah. Right? We're not at the point. I would love to be able to fucking protest every goddamn church on every Sunday, talking about how fucking blood magic isn't real. Death cults are fucking bad influences. This is all fucking dangerous shit. But we have to pick our battles.
Well, that's the thing. We do have to pick our battles, and we have to think about what's the most intelligent way of winning hearts and minds.
Yeah,
but someone like Oz, for example, or someone like Tobin, someone like Jimmy, someone who has grown up in the faith and has turned away from the faith, when you talk about how to convince people within that old clique that you belong to, you guys are the best people. If you were brought up in it, were hip deep in it, and now you're not, you're the best people to try to unplug, a la the Matrix, right? You're the best people to go back and try to pull them out. Because you have a story, and you got a great story.
Yeah. So, sorry, Oz, thank you so much for everything that you're doing, and I hope that we can connect soon, buddy.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. But yeah, thanks for letting me hang out, everybody. And I'm out. Religion poisons everything.
Religion poisons everything.
Preach it, brother. Preach it. No, religion does poison everything. It is.
I will say though, I find it preferable to live in an environment in the time we do that, like at least like a lot of these people now, like the kind of crazy right wingers and all those guys. At least we know we can go and like hear it from the horse's mouth, and we know what they're thinking, like what their mindset is, and it's not being closeted. Because I think it'd be much more dangerous if there was this kind of underground thing going on. We didn't understand the narrative. The fact that they're giving it to us on a silver platter is kind of comforting in a way.
I will say this is that there are good and bad points about it. Now, am I going to bring up Nazis? I'm going to have to bring up Nazis for a second. Let's say it's like 1930 in Germany, and some brown shirt gives me a pamphlet, right? And and the pamphlet has all the bad things, like all the bad things in it. At no point do I think, well, at least they're making it well known,
The fact that they're able to normalize this shit now and the talk is scary, because some of the shit that they're saying out in public right now, you wouldn't have said 10 years ago. Yeah, because it's just not
you're right. There is.
That's how they pepper mentalities. Like even with my kids, they're starting to pick up these fucking right-wing mentalities. Like my one son was talking about how trans people, I don't really think trans women are women. And blah. I'm like, buddy, his grandpa was a closeted cross-dresser entire life. I don't know my father, what his mentality was with it. I don't know, but I do know that he loved dressing up as a woman. And I know he spent a lot of time that way. And I just remind my kids is that our job isn't to go around deciding what gender is or blah, blah, blah. Our job is just to accept and love people and let them live their fucking lives.
Well, just as homosexuality or homosexual acts are not uncommon in the animal world, so is gender fluidity. There are different types of genders within. Dr. Nathan Lentz, when he was on this channel, I don't know, a couple of years ago, he talked about that, and he's a biologist. So yeah, and you're right, Jimmy. It's important to be able to try to get your kids to hear the talking points, right, and identify the right wing talking points, and say, oh, this just smells like, or this is just BS.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, and that's the important thing. And the thing is with us is with people on the left, what our biggest problem is that we're so splintered. The right is like a fucking cult. They all use the same goddamn talking points. They all have the same kind of mentality. You talk to one, they will use the same fucking talking points as the rest of us. While people on the left tend to be more individualistic. We tend to think for ourselves more. Quite frankly, we're smarter, because we think about these issues on a deeper level, other than and that's the problem with the people on the right. They only think from their fucking tunnel vision, and they only think it from their only perspective, because that's what it comes down to.
Yeah, they think they know the leftist arguments because they're being told about leftist arguments on their right-wing show. Yeah. So they know what the leftists are saying, but really, whenever it comes down to it, whenever I've been confronting it, they don't know our argument. They don't.
No, because we all think for ourselves. We all have come up with our own ideas. And we don't even agree with each other on a lot of stuff. Yeah. But I think what the common thing is that we all want our society, we all have the basic mentality of we want our society to be better. And for that to happen, we all have to fucking work together. That's the basic fucking gist of it. Because we are all fucking smart enough to know that in history, none of this goddamn shit has ever fucking worked. Every time that we're all about ourselves, we all fucking muck in the dire and the goddamn shit, and children are working in the coal mines. Yeah. It's only when we fucking work together and realize the importance and how us as a society, we can rise together instead of being fucking pitted against each other. We need to start coming together. And I think we can reach people on the right if we reach them with issues that hit. And I think what part of the problem with the left too is that a lot of people that are in power that are giving messages of left-wing ideas, they're still being tampered with fucking corporate mentalities and influence and fucking
Well,
bullshit.
you know, I will say this. I saw and this has something to do with what you just said, Jimmy. I saw the Netflix movie Don't Look Up, which is a
I
brilliant,
did too. Great movie.
Brilliant.
Fucking awesome movie.
Leonardo DiCaprio plays a
Oh,
scientist.
yeah.
He plays a scientist, and you know how he at first can't really discuss or explain what he's thinking on TV, right? When he's talking to everyday people, I'm thinking, I know this guy. I know him a lot. And a lot of people on the left are really smart, but just don't understand how to get their points across.
Yep. Yeah, there has to. That's right. The messaging has to be changed.
He uses
And
a bunch of terminology.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
this is. We all need to change the message. Well, with any of these issues that we're fighting with. Like for me, trying to fight the religious right, I'm trying to change the narrative. Like one narrative that they like to hold on to is this morality, right? Like they have a monopoly on morality. So you fucking dissect how they don't have a monopoly on morality, because the Bible isn't a moral book.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
No, it's an example of how to be immoral.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, that movie, he had to start changing his message. You know that speech at the end, Andy? That apparently was rewritten like 50 times, and they had a bunch of scientists work on it. And
yeah,
it was good.
Yeah. Well, it's all in the. Anyone who's done any writing whatsoever knows it's all in the rewrite. It's all in the rewrite. You know, the posts I'm putting on Medium, these simple little 350, 400 word posts. I cannot even tell you how many times I've rewritten each one. I mean, that's when I'm trying to do something good, right? When I'm trying to write something well, it takes many rewrites.
I do that in the live chats in the morning. I'll write something and I'm like, I forgot this word, and then I go back and then I'll check on the chat, and then I see somebody has said something very similar to me, and I'm like, and then I just like delete it. There's so many times I don't know why I just went there.
Well, you know, it's you know, to communicate properly, right? It's about communicating properly and getting your point across, and it's a skill.
Yes.
I would just suggest that we on the left start looking at issues, how we can connect with people on the right, and being like one thing in America. I don't know why everyone just doesn't do this. It's just focus on fucking healthcare and how important it is, and how many people are fucking struggling. And like I say this all the time, in Canada, no one has a healthcare bill.
Yeah.
I don't know anyone that is in debt for healthcare issues. No one. And across the board, from everyone that I talk to in the States, that's a common thing. If they don't have some kind of medical debt, they know someone that does. So here's the issue.
Yes. Well, 66 point, 2/3 of all bankruptcies here in the States are caused from medical debts and medical debts. 2/3, right?
Yeah.
So someone named Pablito wants to join us in the chat. So now Pablito's gone. Obviously another spammer, another one who wants to show his junk off.
I'm sorry, I just had to. I don't know if you saw the message I replied.
Yeah. What's the password?
What's the password? Yeah. But, you know, Pablito, you know, there's a couple of rules. You got to show your face, of course. Kevin is it because we know Kevin. You have to be part of the community, or we have to have someone vouch for you. If you know anyone here on the channel, then, you know, someone who can vouch for you, that's great. If you want to be part of the community, show up, join us in the chat on YouTube, on the regular show. That's fantastic, too.
Send money to
Well,
Andy.
Pablito, we've seen you before. Come on. You're a very shouty person. That's what I recall. Very passionate. So, yeah. Join in the chat for a couple of episodes, or maybe, you know, be involved in the community, and then we'll let you on, because otherwise we just have people who spam.
Yeah. And it's a waste of time.
Yeah.
As far as like some of the stuff you guys are saying, as far as like keeping, you know, contact and, you know, in dialogue with people on the right, like I find I've been trying to do that, and like some people around the community have kind of poo-pooed me for, you know, maintaining contact with certain people, but I I have a different threshold, you know. But the main idea, what I keep getting from them is if you take out the religion, whatever it is, you know, if you take out the God, then you have to replace it with something. Like they're not content
That's not true.
with us building a community around our lack of belief, right? They want some replacement to their faith.
What it
You know.
is that they are detoxing. You know, they are detoxing. So they're going from heroin and they say, oh, my fictitious God. Or they're going, oh my God, I need some kind of methadone or something. And in all reality, you don't. You just think you do. Right? You don't need that. What it is that you can just live a happy, healthy, fulfilled life without this kind of replacement for a cult. It isn't like you're going to exchange one type of cancer for another type of cancer, right?
Exactly.
Like when you look at secular societies or more secular societies, like in the Nordic countries, right? They're not very secular, but there isn't there isn't something like a secular church there, because it seems like people can just lead their freaking lives and be engaged like happy people.
This is what's confusing to me. This argument is so easy too that we could be presenting to people. Just challenge them. Just show them. Show me one fucking country, that theocratic country, where the people have good human rights. Just show me one. Even in all of history, one fucking country. Just one. There's not one.
One theocratic country that isn't run by idiots, right? That doesn't fall behind in like 50 years of its neighbors. You know, the ones that can't compete. If you're living in a theocracy, you cannot compete over the long term. If you live in an authoritarian government, you won't be able to compete in the long term.
Even in the States, like all your dark times, the fucking religious right have been right there. Like with like McCarthyism, and fucking the Salem witch trials and fucking slavery and the satanic panic of the 80s, and now it's fucking raising its ugly head with QAnon. QAnon is getting all its strength from the religious right. All of it.
Oh yeah. Well, it's those people who have been primed by by fundamentalist Christianity, who have that magical thinking. Once you have that in you, it's easy. It's a hop, skip, and a jump to thinking that there are rape tunnels underneath the White House. If you believe that there's an old man with a gray beard in the sky hanging out with angels, then it's not that far to think rape tunnels underneath the White House. Democrats are Satanists, and they're involved in a child sex ring. Sure.
Yeah. Just can I say something to Jessie Bear? She was talking about how the cost of giving birth. Just a reminder, all our American friends, I've had a couple kids. Every time, private room, doctors, nice hospital, walked out. The only goddamn bill I had was the parking fee.
Yeah.
And I showed a card, and they go and they take care of fucking everything. Everything. And we walk out, nothing. You could be homeless and get that same kind of treatment. And then, God, I don't know how you guys, no wonder there's fucking mass shootings all the time. You guys have to deal with this shit.
People are pushed to their brink of to the edge of just desperation. It's so freaking sad.
Yeah.
It is.
I'm going to say some more. I will say that even though, and I just want to make a sub point to my main point about maybe having secular institutions like a secular church isn't really incredibly important in the long run, right? When you get into like secular societies like in Nordic countries, what I think would be good, necessary, and it would pay off dividends is if, and I know I'm going to sound kind of crazy, but if there were institutions to help educate, let's say, the vanguard of the movement, right? The vanguard of the movement, the people who really want to be able to be effective speakers and effective thinkers. I think that would be useful. So maybe not, but that's just my own personal, that's my 2 cents right there.
So what you're saying is,
what's that,
right,
Jim?
Tobin. Sorry.
We should create a vanguard of people who are that's like their specialty is
Yeah.
to
See, I can see the wheels turning there. Right. Yeah.
yes, yeah.
Kind of like the think tanks they have in the political
Right.
institution.
All right. On that note, does anyone last words, gentlemen? We're gonna have to run. I'm gonna have to run. I have to go to work today. Hey, I get to go to work today.
Yay! Good for you, Andy. Can I just plug my show?
Please do.
Please. Faith Not Included, episode 23. If you guys haven't watched it, it's hilarious. I put the link in the comments. We threw everything, and the kitchen sink, and the baby with the fucking bath water. Hilarious. Hilarious stuff. And please check out my YouTube channel, our Church of Heretics. Come join us at churchofheretics.com or join our Facebook at Church of Heretics. Lots of laughs, lots of fun, lots of love. Mwah. Lots of moist fuckery.
Any other last words?
Hey, Shamala Hamala.
Shamala hamala.
Alhamdulillah.
All right, everyone. Take care. We're gonna do the same crazy thing tomorrow. Take care.
Bye-bye.